guys, welcome to my channel. Bonjour mes amis. This is Ethel. I am back again. I took a little bit of a break. We moved between states and are settling into our new state. So I had to just take a break, regroup, get my family all set up, and I am back with a topic that is definitely near and dear to my heart. It's the idea of combating fear with action. Have you ever been in this space where you know there are things you want to do, would love to see happen in your life, but you just get in a rut, you get stuck because partially, you might be dealing with imposter syndrome where you feel you don't deserve it. You're not the person that's supposed to be doing that thing. As if somebody else is supposed to be doing it, not you. And just being stuck in like a fear state. Sometimes it's even fear of success. Like if this actually does well, if this actually takes off, if this actually becomes what I see it to be in my mind, am I okay with that, And I think it's something that also informs, this kind of feeling informs procrastination. A lot, like there are tons and tons of material and workshops and just work around combating procrastination. And it's funny because it hits everybody. Everybody deals with some level of procrastination in some area of their lives, okay? It's a human struggle that we all have. And today I have 5 points and steps that I have found very helpful and I still use ongoing to help me just move forward, move through and power through some of those difficult action steps that move me towards my goal. Okay, so I call it combating fear with action. And for us that are Christians, my Christian brothers and sisters, I feel like I need to mention this because one of the biggest just myths around fear and action is this wonderful middle, like just mumbo jumbo thing called the will of God. Okay, I am not saying that there isn't a will of God, but I am saying that what we define as the will of God is usually just excuses that or fears, okay, that we put in front of us as reasons why we cannot take action on something that God has probably put on our hearts already, has probably already written in our hearts before we were even born. And so in present time, at whatever age you're in, at whatever stage you're in life, you could be feeling called and drawn to these things that God has already put in your heart to do. He says he is the one who works in us the will and the desire to do our purpose. Okay, so sometimes you would say, oh, I don't know what the will of God is concerning this, and so I'm not sure if I should do it or not. And so that causes a lot of freeze, and it sounds spiritual. It sounds great. It sounds like, yeah, I'm just over here waiting for the will of God, and for the word of God to fall from somewhere for me to do something that I feel drawn inside. I feel called to. That is a good thing. It's not a sin, but I just want something to just pop out of somewhere to tell me this is the way, this is what you're supposed to do. Well, these steps are gonna kind of help you boil it all down and start taking action right away. So stick with me. So the first step is brainstorming. Okay, so you're going to brainstorm, and this is going to be an exercise that you want to just do on your own, maybe with a journal and a pen for sure, so that you don't miss anything. and just brainstorm your wants, your desires. Okay, your desires are not evil. God actually places those desires inside of you to guide your path, and to tell you and inform you who you are and what He wants to accomplish in the earth through you. Okay, obviously, if there's sinful desires or sinful wants, things that blatantly go against the will and the justice system of God, that is sinful, then you know right away that should be discarded. But if it doesn't violate any laws, does not hurt anybody, and it's actually good things, your only hesitations towards them is fear. That's literally all it is. It's fear. Okay, fear of it never happening, or fear of being disappointed, or fear actually having it and what that will look. Yeah, you're brainstorming your wants and your needs, and you want to divide wants from needs, because wants, are desires that maybe you really want, right? It's like the next level stuff that you want, but might not be like survival, right? Like survival level needs. And then you also want to put down your needs and be honest about your needs. Like, I need these things to be happening and to be in my life for me to thrive. Okay, do not shy or back down from your real actual needs. And then your dreams, you want to write down your dreams, just all the things that you would want your life to create. By the time you're done with life and dead and leaving, all the things that you want your life to have created, your legacy, your income dreams, your influence dreams, just the conversations that you'd want to have in the world, the waves that you'd want to have in your community, with your children, with your family, with your friends, and in the world. You want to write all of those down. And then that brings us to a second point, which is looking at fear. So you just want to list all your fears, just worst case scenarios. Okay, just like go for it. Don't be afraid. So the house burns down, and I get hit by a bus. Whatever the fears are, just write them down. All the worst case scenarios concerning your dreams, wants, and needs, and just write them all down and kind of look at them for yourself. Very quickly, you're going to recognize that some are very ridiculous and some are very irrational fears, and then some you're going to notice are legitimate. They're legitimate fears that could potentially be barriers to pushing through your goals. So then you're going to note those ones that are more likely to trip you up. Okay, and my Christian brothers and sisters, these are the ones that you want to bring to the Lord. You want to pray over those fears, and you want to completely release them to the Lord. Let Him take over those, things that you are afraid of happening. Like, pray over them and then leave it there. Because what is prayer if we don't believe that God is going to do what we asked Him to? So you have that resource, which is really great. So you pray over it and you leave it there. Another thing you can do is ask yourself, on top of praying, how can I mitigate these things from not occurring, right? Like, for instance, maybe fearing that you're going to get into some sort of financial bind. Okay, so how do I mitigate and make sure that that doesn't happen? One simple way is to make sure that you have a working budget. So now you have an action step. how do I create, right? Now you're going into creativity, you're going into joy, you're going into spaciousness. So how do I create a working budget? And when you hear the word budget, you could literally give the word budget any word that you want to give it. You could give it you could call it your financial goal plan, or you could call it your freedom plan, okay? Or your joy plan, whatever you want to call it to make it less triggering in your mind. Go ahead and call your budget that. And you want to start learning how to create a budget and how to spend, how to create freedom, how to find joy and freedom and just happiness, right? In ways that do not involve draining and emptying your pocket all the time. So that's one example, right? There's so many other things that you might have fears around that you will very quickly recognize that once you put it on paper, your creative juices actually start to kick in and you become, because we are made to be creative. We're born creative human beings. The human mind is amazing and it's always looking to problem solve, okay? But if you have these fears hitting in vague secrecy and darkness, all they would do is keep you overwhelmed, keep you procrastinating, keep you stagnant and stuck, right? When people say, I'm just stuck. Why are you stuck? It's because everything is not on the table, right? We're hiding fears. We're hiding wrong limiting beliefs that we are not tackling. And so then we're not doing what we want to do and what we're supposed to do to grow and to flourish. And so once you get all those fears and fears down on paper, you want to pray over them and then mitigate them, right? Put steps and things into place to make sure that the likelihood of them happening is close to zero, okay? But obviously, your number one insurance will be trusting those things to a good Father, God, who takes care of us. But also being diligent to make sure that we're doing everything that is on our part, right? To make sure these things do not happen. Okay, so moving on to the third point. This is some juicy stuff. I love this stuff because this is how we move forward with action, okay, towards the things that God has for us, towards the dreams and the goals and the purpose that He's made us for, right? The world is waiting for more people to just come awake and start doing the things that are in their heart to do. And most of these things are good things, okay? A lot of good people want to do a lot of good things, but there's all of these things that are holding us back. And these steps are some of the steps that will help you kind of power through and move forward. So the third point will be solutions, okay? So the solutions are going to be your action steps. What are my action steps? So for instance, I want to start a small business. What are my action steps? Okay, so you're going to list from the beginning, naming the business, finding a logo, whatever it is, registering the business, whatever it is, just writing it all down in sequence, okay? That's a very peculiar example, but it can apply to anything, really, anything. Maybe you have to organize your house, okay? A whole house, and you're overwhelmed. One thing you can do is just categorize, kitchen, living room, bedroom, just all the things that need to be done in all the different spots. So that's your action steps. Mop floors in the kitchen, clean the dishes, do this, do this, do this. So you have everything written down, okay? So that's your plan. That's your action steps. And then number 4 is what's going to keep you going. Get you started and keep you going, which is your why. So number 4, you're going to put down, why am I doing this? Why do I want this? Why do I want this? Why do I want this? Because keeping a clean home for my family creates less anxiety. It creates flow in our home. It creates joy. It opens us up for creativity and fun. I feel happier when my house is clean, and my kids and my family life just functions a little bit better. And this is important for me because why? Because I value a clean space. I value joy. I value the connectedness that I get to have in well-organized spaces with my family. So you're going to write down your whys. Why do I want to start a small business? Because I want to make extra income. Why do I want to make extra income? Because I want to truly start doing A, B, and C for my kids. Just their future planning, right? Planning for my kids' future, or planning for my retirement, just different things, or influencing my community through my business, serving other people, helping others grow and be successful, or providing a product or a service in the community. So you are now defining the reason why these action steps even matter in the first place, which will get you going and keep you going. Because when you are getting tired, exhausted, you can look at those whys and you can remember, okay, this is why. This is the deep reason why I'm scrubbing the floors right now. This is the real deep reason why these dishes need done. It's not useless, and it's not mundane as I think it is, because it's actually creating joy. It's actually creating peace and flow in my home. So the fifth but not the least point is going to be, doing the smallest action right away. When I mean right away, I mean right away. Like literally after you do the exercise, however long it takes you to go through these 5 steps, the minute you get to the 5th step after your why, you want to do the smallest action towards your goal right away. Research shows that when you have an idea, the chances of you following through with it are much higher if you take a small step within 24 hours. And so going right ahead and, making a phone call right away, not tomorrow, right away. And, or getting up and going and taking a small action towards your list of things that you need to do, just doing that. And the thing about it too, with action, one tip that really helps is not committing to big chunks of time all at once, especially with something that you've never done before. There's a reason why you're not doing it. Sometimes the dread of the time commitment alone is why we don't do the things that we want to do. And so a very simple trick is to tell yourself, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes. So you set a timer. I'm going to do this for just 5 minutes. And we all know that we can do anything for 5 minutes. So that gives you an extra boost to go ahead and do that thing for 5 minutes. Now, after 5 minutes, if I like this thing enough and I feel like it's productive and I'm doing something good and I'm excited about this, I'm going to do it for another 10 minutes, okay? So you set the timer for 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes. At the 10-minute mark, you reevaluate, how am I doing? How excited am I about this, and the fact that I'm actually doing something about this. I've been procrastinating for so long and I'm actually doing something about this. And so then you give yourself 15 minutes after, and this is all, contingent on how long it takes to do the project and how much time you have in the moment. If you have to come back at another time to restart action steps, you want to start with the 5-minute action step again. Just because if it's something new, obviously if it's like dishes in the sink, most of us have, developed habits already around tidying and stuff like that. So You know, you might want to just finish the dishes, and it might be something that's just, you know, doable, right? But maybe with starting a new business that you have never done before, that might have more fear and weight attached to it, because why? You have deep subconscious limiting beliefs about what you're doing, and it's completely new. And so you're way more likely to say, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna go do something that's familiar, something that makes sense, something that's like, you know, not so new and not so scary. So with such things, the 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute kind of increments are super beneficial, because we know we can do anything for 5 minutes. You can do market research in 5 minutes and be like, I just did marketing for my business, 5 minutes, and I'm gonna give it another 10. I think I can do it. And so you kind of help yourself and bump yourself that way. And then tomorrow, you just come into 5 minutes. You can do 5 minutes. Anybody can do 5 minutes. Yes. So that brings us to the end of my video. If you like videos like these that are around just productivity, healthy lifestyle, just healthy womanhood, I have just a bunch of different topics that come to me. You can check out my other videos. Yeah, I just love to help people thrive. I love thriving, and I love to see other people thrive. There's so much information that I will be bringing your way. So if you found this video helpful, subscribe, hit the like button, share, comment. Tell me some tips that do help you push through your fears, procrastination, just things that have helped you over the years, and just some big wins that you've had. You're welcome to share. I love reading the comments. I love just connecting with you guys in the comment section. And until next time,